Welcome to the News Today with Universal Parks News Today. I'm Tom Corliss. Here now the news for October 11th, 2025. The remains of the closed Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit at Universal Studios Florida were on fire Friday morning. WESH 2 first reported the fire at 11:42 a.m. They were broadcasting live from the scene soon after the firefighters tried to put out the flames. WESH provided live video from the scene at about 11:50 a.m. The track of the coaster's lift hill was on fire and blackened. As of 11:56 a.m., the fire was mostly out, but firefighters were still spraying the track with water. Flames still occasionally appeared on the track for the next several minutes, and there was black smoke where the crews sprayed water. Like the track, part of the lift hill's yellow supports became black from the fire as well. The Orlando Fire Department confirmed to WESH 2 that firefighters are working on a small active fire on the tracks of a closed coaster. We don't know how the fire started, but the demolition work has been ongoing in the area. The park continued to operate as normal through all of this. The lift hill is in an area guests could not access, so it didn't really matter. It is awfully close to some of the Horror Nights areas, but we'll see if that affects any access over the weekend. Obviously, by the time you're watching this, a day has gone by and we'll know the answer to that, but either way. My theory, and by the time you're watching this, we probably know, but obviously there's the lift hill chain would be there, and there's usually grease there, and whatever they were sawing or welding or whatever they were doing likely sparked a grease fire. So nonetheless, Hollywood Rip Ride Rockit refuses to go quietly into the night, and I would expect nothing less from that nightmare of an attraction. Following a closure of over 2 weeks, Stardust Racers at Epic Universe officially reopened to guests. Universal initially claimed that Stardust Racers would be reopening sometime on Friday afternoon, though a specific time was not stated. Team members were seen riding the attraction as normal in the morning that day, and guests were not allowed in the queue. Most of October 4th was rainy, leading to what could have been some additional delays in reopening the ride, but guests were first allowed into the queue a little after 6 p.m., though guests were still kept out of the actual loading building until nearly 6:45. By the attraction's entrance, guests could see the warning sign for Stardust had been updated. Universal also added a new guide for safety and accessibility for Epic Universe, Universal Studios Florida, and Islands of Adventure, which includes some updated requirements for attractions such as Stardust Racers. We'll address those in an upcoming story. All the signage in the Stardust Racers queue, not just the one by the entrance, has been updated. Once inside the queue of Stardust Racers, there have been no major visible changes since prior to the closure. The vehicles have not been obviously altered either, and the attraction feels to have the same speed. A team member later confirmed with us that apart from the higher safety requirements, no aspect of the attraction has actually been modified. Despite team member reports that Stardust Racers would be adding modified seats to accommodate larger guests, those have still not been added either. Now for those updates, the Epic Universe website has recently added links to a new guide for safety and accessibility, which can be found linked under the accessibility sections of select attractions such as Stardust Racers. A similar link can be found for select attractions at Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure, which share a different combined guide for both parks. The guides, which are 34 pages long for Epic and 62 long for the other parks, have information regarding safety advisories, guests using wheelchairs or ECVs, and a breakdown of the specific requirements for every attraction. Both have an effective date of October 4th, 2025. One of the first sections of both guides is a list of rider requirements, which mentions for most rides and attractions, you must be able to independently maintain an upright position and brace and support your torso, neck, and head while absorbing sudden and dramatic movements throughout the experience. For additional requirements, please consult the ride and attraction listing in this guide. Following an introduction to attraction symbol descriptions, there is a list of safety advisories for lost items, restraint systems, magnetic fields, free slowing articles, and much more. In one seemingly new policy update, there are now 3 groups of attractions with various wheelchair requirements. Select attractions are capable of allowing guests to remain in their standard wheelchair, while others have been designed to accommodate those transferring from their wheelchair to the ride vehicle. Some attractions in the first category include Yoshi's Adventure and Fire Drill at Epic, while the second category includes Constellation Carousel, Curse of the Werewolf, Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry, Hiccup's Wing Gliders, Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, and Minecart Madness. Like all of Epic. However, there is now a third category with the requirement that guests using mobility devices must be able to walk independently. That includes Dragon Racers Rally, Monsters Unchained, The Frankenstein Experiment, and Stardust Racers. This same category now exists in the guide for IOA and USF. Attractions requiring guests to walk independently include Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, for motorbike only, Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey, and Jurassic World Velocicoaster. In a later section for guests with prosthesis, it also mentions that Dragon Racers Rally and Stardust require guests to remove all prosthetic limbs before riding. Dragon Racers Rally, Monsters Unchained, and Stardust Racers are all also listed in a section for guests with casts, saying, for the following attractions, guests cannot ride if the cast covers an area that is required for the guests to meet the ride requirements of the attraction. Additional sections in the guide have rules for guests using medical devices, evacuation procedures, and an explanation of the terms used for each attraction. The rest of both guides is filled with a breakdown of the information for each individual attraction, including the symbols from the first section, rider requirements, and relevant information. The section for Stardust Racers reads, this attraction has a device to assist you with your transfer to the ride vehicle. Please see an attraction attendant for further information. Guests using mobility devices must be able to walk independently. You must also be able to 1. Maintain an upright position, 2. Support your torso, neck, and head while absorbing sudden and dramatic movements, and 3. Brace your body with at least one natural upper extremity. Matching some of these changes, select attraction signage inside Epic Universe has been updated. Both Dragon Racers Rally and Monsters Unchained have additional circles in the Do Not Ride if you have the following conditions section for weakened bones or muscles, inability to independently maintain an upright position, and other conditions that may be aggravated by this ride. These new warnings join the existing categories for heart conditions, unhealed surgery, motion sickness, and other similar conditions. Of course, it's worth noting Universal stated that as per their own internal investigation for Stardust Racers, the ride systems functioned as intended. One would wonder, though, if your ride systems functioned as intended, why would you need to update all of this? But here's what I will say. I don't have a side in this, but I think from an optics standpoint, it is a really poor look to have reopened this ride so soon. And I have seen, I'm going to just throw this out there, no love lost between me and this community at this point anyway. What needs to be said at this point, I have seen some really disgusting takes on social media. Whether or not the person should have rode the roller coaster or not, a human being died. A person is dead, regardless of anything. And so the fact that people immediately are just like, oh man, the ride should be open already, and this is nonsense, and blah, blah, blah. Take a moment to think about the reality of the situation, and that regardless of whose fault anything is, or whatever the case may be, a person has died. A human being. Think about if that was someone you knew, whether they were not in condition to ride a theme park ride or not. It's a thing that shouldn't happen. And either way, the last thing on everyone's mind when something like this happens should be that the ride should be open. That should be the last thing we worry about at that point in time. We should worry about the family and friends of the person that passed. We should worry about the safety that there is in riding said attraction. And after all of that, then we can think about, once that's all addressed and everyone's, moved on, then we can talk about reopening a theme park ride. Look, I have certainly been up in arms about a number of things of way lesser importance in this time and fought very hard for those things, like an animatronic bear show or a pizza box for that matter. But this is real stuff, ladies and gentlemen. This is the real deal. This is life and death. And sometimes those things supersede our wants as theme park fans. And not, I say sometimes passive aggressively, because I really mean all the time. So, a little compassion goes a long way, no matter what you think. Those things don't need to be said publicly, and you should have a little compassion for human beings. But either way, I will say, here is my honest opinion on the situation. Regardless of the person's condition, ride vehicles should be designed in a way that they are safe for people, whether they are conscious or not. If someone is unconscious and could be hurt by being unconscious on the ride, A, either the ride needs to be e-stopped, or B, that needs to be taken into account when designing said attraction. Any of us, regardless if we have known conditions or not, can black out on a thrill ride at any time. It happens constantly. If the caveat there is, well, if you black out, you might bang your head on things and die, then the ride is not designed correctly. I'm sorry, that's not the case. Now, I'd like to think and hope that this is a freak accident because obviously thousands of people rode this before, but the honest truth is this is a very young attraction. It opened this summer, and to have an accident that quickly raises an eyebrow. When an attraction that's operated for 20, 30, 40, 50 years has a fatal accident, it is obviously a cause for alarm, but at the same time you sit and you think, well, man, for decades, millions of people have been on that ride and been okay. So it seems like it's just a freak accident. It's an awful thing, but it is a freak accident. When an attraction is operated for just a couple of months, that's a scary thing. That is a scary thing. And I will say this much. Until I know more, until I actually know, and it is said publicly, what happened and why, I'm not going on this ride. I'm not going on this ride until I know for sure if it was because the rider had a medical condition or because there's not adequate support for a human being on the ride. And until I know the difference, I'm not touching that. So to each their own. If you feel comfortable, go for it. But again, a couple months in, it's too early. That's too early to know. So, I mean, I will tell you this. I still, even though we live in an age of much better maintenance at Disney, I still feel incredibly uncomfortable anytime I get sat in like rows 1 or 2 of Big Thunder Mountain. For those that don't know, you can look it up. I'm not going to say what happened. But in the 2000s, when maintenance at Disneyland was not what it should have been and costs were being cut and it was a disgusting regime of people running said parks, there was a fatal accident on Big Thunder that was absolutely their fault. And regardless, I know today that that is not the case. I know today that the money is spent and people are taking care. I still don't feel safe sitting there, even though I know that the care is being put in. So I don't know that I'll ever ride Stardust and not think of that. It's hard to get that out of your mind. Even if Universal is completely cleared here, it's still going to be in people's minds. It's going to leave a bit of a blemish on this attraction forever either way, which is a shame because I love Stardust. I think it's super fun, but no ride is fun enough to disregard the safety of human beings and to disregard the fact that someone is no longer with us. Sticking with Stardust Racers, attorney Ben Crump, representing the family of Kevin Rodriguez Zavala, who died after riding the attraction, condemned the ride's reopening during a press conference. Before the press conference on Monday morning, Crump shared this statement: Stardust Racers is evidence in an active death investigation. Reopening the ride before our experts can examine every component is unadulterated spoliation of evidence, a grave risk to public safety, and puts profit over people's lives. Universal reportedly told employees the ride functioned as intended. If that is accurate, then the design itself is deadly. We are demanding that Universal pause the reopening, preserve all evidence, and allow our experts to inspect it. If they refuse, we will address Universal's callous actions in court. Zavala's parents, Carlos Rodriguez Ortiz and Ana Zavala, said in a statement, by rushing to reopen this ride as if nothing happened, Universal is showing great disregard for Kevin's life, our family's pain, and the safety of every rider who steps onto the coaster. We are horrified that Universal would put the ride back in operation so quickly. Crump later reiterated his feelings about the reopening at the press conference. He quoted Universal's statement that safety is and always will be at the forefront of everything we do, saying, words ring hollow. He criticized Universal's reopening the ride without giving answers to Zavala's family or allowing Crump's team of experts to inspect the coaster. According to Crump, Zavala's family found out about the ride's reopening at the same time as the general public. He said the family is left wondering, are they putting profit over people? Zavala was born with spinal cord atrophy and used a wheelchair, but Crump said he understood everything about his limitations. He has ridden roller coasters over 100 times before, read the instructions at Epic Universe, and did not ride roller coasters that he had restrictions applying to him. Crump said trusting Universal was the only thing he did wrong. Zavala's sister-in-law read a statement by his father who said Universal provided Kevin with a wheelchair transfer seat, and he was assisted by team members who took 4 tries to get his seat secured. Crump addressed this change of policy, saying it is like giving a death row pardon 10 minutes too late. He questioned why they didn't arrive at the conclusion that this ride was not safe for disabled people that were bound to a wheelchair until after Kevin was dead. Crump is a famous civil rights lawyer who has also represented the families of Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, as well as the family of 14-year-old Tyree Sampson, who passed away after riding an attraction at Icon Park back in 2022. Crump and Zavala's family previously held a press conference on September 30th claiming multiple other Stardust Racers riders had shared stories of injuries on the ride. Crump's team is communicating with the state and local officials about creating greater government oversight for companies like Universal who self-report injuries. Orange County officials are investigating the incident under Florida's manslaughter statute. I'm going to apologize now. There is no good transition to the rest of the fun stories today, so I apologize, but the news will move on. Hounds, raise your glass to this new color-changing souvenir Pilsner from the Burning Blade Tavern at Epic Universe. This 20-ounce plastic Pilsner glass is available with most of the specialty drinks and draft beers on tap at the Burning Blade Tavern. It comes with a $5 discount for additional beer refills at the Burning Blade, plus additional discounts throughout the park. Our reporter was able to confirm a $1 discount for using the glass at Mead Hall in Isle of Burke. The glass features the Burning Blade Tavern logo on one side, and when cold, the text and flames are vibrant orange. As it warms up, the whole graphic turns white. The glass itself is transparent with a rounded base that is thinner than the top. It is plain apart from the color-changing art. You can get this now. Check out our review of the Burning Blade Tavern right here on the channel. The Super Mario Fountain and a set of broken stairs near the Cosmos Fountain have been both wrapped in construction walls at Epic Universe. As first cataloged by Nana during an Epic Universe photo report in September, a section of the stairs near the Cosmos Fountain in Celestial Park had already been damaged. The stairs in question, as seen in our photos, were made of tan-colored concrete, but several of them had cracks and holes, especially near the metal handrail on the left side. At the time, they were blocked using temporary barriers and stanchions. However, during our visit on October 4th, the stairs have now been blocked by some much taller construction walls. The walls run down the whole left side of the Cosmos Fountain viewing area with different levels to match the nearby tiered platforms. The walls themselves are painted yellow with green edges. None of the concrete behind the walls is currently visible, so we assume it's getting repaired. One other area of damaged concrete is located by the main guest walkway just before the construction walls and the Cosmos Fountain. At the moment, this area, which includes a section of the walkway and a bench, is blocked with more temporary barricades. It appears the concrete in this space has been removed or covered with temporary boards, which have been painted the same color as the rest of the path. This section is likely also getting repaired. One more area sporting some construction walls is the Mario Fountain, located just outside the entrance to Super Nintendo World and the Nintendo Superstar store. The walls wrap completely around the base of the fountain, blocking it from guest view. The fountain has a green flower with water flowing down the sides and a statue of Mario standing in the middle. Mario is surrounded by gold coins that spin when the fountain is operational. Like the construction walls near the Cosmos Fountain, these are all painted yellow with green stripes around the edges and each panel. Universal has not made any announcements concerning the fountain, so it's possible this is just routine maintenance or repair work. They've had some problems with the fountain. There was some cracking, and then also the coin spinning on some days just didn't work. So a lot of TLC going into Epic Universe as it goes through its first few months of operation. A new Celestial-themed water light wand toy is now available at Epic Universe, fitting in perfectly with Celestial Park. The $27 water light wand toy is branded specifically for Epic. The handle is dark blue with gold tone curved lines and sculpted stars. The body of the wand is clear and more gold tone swirls are inside. And at the top of the wand is a blue and red sphere-shaped tip that contains a swirling constellation effect. When turned on via the star-shaped button on the handle, the wand lights up and water flows throughout. Tiny multicolored pieces of confetti float around in the body of the wand. The large sphere-shaped wand topper also lights up. You can choose between two colors, red or blue, and it requires 3 AAA batteries. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guest and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to www.travel and their team will design your next epic vacation with tickets for Epic Universe and other Universal parks to hotel reservations and more. And the best part is their concierge services are 100% free, so book today. The final Epic Universe-inspired Universal Orlando Resort annual Passholder button has been revealed and is available now. As previously teased, this button is based on Super Nintendo World at Epic. It features Mario in front of Mount Beanpole with fireworks and the Super Nintendo World logo. It comes on a red UOAP backing card. The complimentary button is available starting as of Friday. October 10th, while supplies last, at the UOAP Lounge at Universal Islands of Adventure from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. and the Tonight Shop in Universal Studios Florida from park open to park close. This is the fifth and final button in a series of Epic Universe buttons inspired by each of the park's worlds. Universal Orlando Resort announced the dates and details of their 2025 holiday offerings, including the return of the Universal Holiday Tour, the Tribute Store, and more. The offerings will run from November 21st, 2025 through January 3rd, 2026, and are confirmed to include the following. The Universal Holiday Tour includes a walking tour and the following offerings: an exclusive meet and greet with the Grinch and his faithful dog Max, reserved viewing area for Universal's Holiday Parade featuring Macy's, reserved seating area for the Grinchmas Holiday Spectacular, cookie decorating, light bites, and non-alcoholic beverages, an exclusive meet and greet photo opportunity with Santa Claus in Universal Studios Florida, and priority access to one predetermined attraction at USF. Tickets for ages 3 and up start at $79.99 and can be booked at universalorlando.com/holidays. Separate park-to-park admission is required. Annual and seasonal pass holders can get a $10 discount as well. Tickets for pass holders can be purchased through the VIP call center at 1-866-346-9350 or by visiting the UOAP Lounge at Islands of Adventure. Blockout dates do apply. The Grinch and Friends Character Breakfast returns to Circus McGurkus Cafe Stupendous in Seuss Landing at Islands of Adventure. Guests can enjoy a special menu of festive foods like green eggs and ham quiche, the Mrs. Toffee Apple Dapple Cluck Crunch Chicken Sandwich, and Betty Lou Who's Fluffy Ricotta Pancakes. Oh boy. Throughout the meal, guests will encounter Who's and the Grinch himself. The breakfast experience is $58.99 for adults ages 10 and up and $32.99 for ages 3 to 9. It can be booked again at universalorlando.com/holidays. Separate admission to Islands of Adventure is required. The Holiday Tribute Store will return with themed merchandise and rooms. As well, Universal's Holiday Parade featuring Macy's is back with larger-than-life balloons and appearances by the Minions of Despicable Me, Shrek and Friends, and Madagascar characters and more. The parade culminates with the lighting of the park's 80-foot Christmas tree led by Santa Claus, scheduled for 5:30 p.m. each evening of the holiday season. Christmas in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter will allow you to celebrate in Diagon Alley, Hogsmeade, and for the first time ever, the Wizarding Paris. All three Wizarding Worlds will celebrate the holidays this year with seasonal decorations like garlands and lights. Hot butterbeer and holiday merchandise will be available at the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Hogsmeade at Islands of Adventure. Guests can also enjoy seasonal melodies from the Frog Choir. And in Diagon Alley at Universal Studios Florida, Celestina Warbeck and the Banshees will perform seasonal songs and dances. The Magic of Christmas at Hogwarts Castle show returns to Hogsmeade. The show features projections and other special effects. Grinchmas is also returning, and there will be a new Who-Ville tree lot. Seuss Landing is decked out with holiday decorations, including the new Who-Ville tree lot. This space features a collection of whimsical trees themed to various Dr. Seuss characters. Guests may encounter Who's wandering the land as well. The Grinch meet and greet will return daily to Honk Honkers, and enjoy a live retelling of How the Grinch Stole Christmas with the Grinchmas Holiday Spectacular featuring music by Mannheim Steamroller. The show will be performed at 10:15 a.m., 11:15 a.m., 12:15 p.m., 1:15, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, and 6:30 daily. Christmas decorations in New York, in Universal Studios Florida, and other areas of the park will also be decorated for the holidays. Plus, guests can encounter characters in holiday outfits. And over at Epic Universe, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic, and Celestial Park will both feature special decorations for their first holiday season. Seasonal merchandise will be available at Port of Entry Christmas Shop at Islands of Adventure and Park Plaza Holiday Shop at Universal Studios Florida, including ornaments, hats, scarves, and more. Limited time holiday sweets and treats and more menu items will be available throughout the theme parks and Universal City Walk. These include special donuts and holiday cocktails for ages 21 and up. In City Walk, Big Fire and Vivo Italian Kitchen are among the restaurants that will have special items. As usual, the Toothsome Chocolate Emporium and Savory Feast Kitchen will have a seasonal milkshake. Green and Red Coconut Club at Universal City Walk will return. The theme this year will be Mistletoe Pine Ski Lodge. Guests will enjoy theming, holiday songs, signature cocktails, and an encounter with Earl the Squirrel upstairs for Earl's 12 Days of Christmas. In addition to appearances at Green and Red Coconut Club, Earl the Squirrel will have a meet and greet on select dates in City Walk Plaza. Universal Orlando's resort hotels will all be decorated for the season, and special menus and buffets for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's will be offered. Guests can also join Christmas tree lightings, Hanukkah menorah lighting ceremonies, strolling carolers, and more. And all three parks, City Walk, and the hotels will have New Year's Eve celebrations. Additional details will be announced later. Universal Orlando Resort annual pass holders can enjoy special perks, discounts, and exclusives during the holiday season. Those perks will include the UOAP Lounge having extended hours, Grinch Holiday Button, the Grinch and Friends character breakfast discount, Universal Holiday Tour discount, parade viewing area, pass holder holiday resort rates, exclusive holiday food, beverage, and fudge offers, pass holder holiday merchandise, early access to holiday tribute store, Universal Volcano Bay early entry as well. For full pricing and details, you can check out our website. A new line of holiday merchandise items inspired by Harry Potter called the Christmas at Hogwarts collection has arrived at Universal Orlando. The collection includes gloves for $30, a beanie is $35, a stocking for $32, a snow globe magnet for $22, a Deck the Great Hall shirt for $33, a Happy Christmas Spirit jersey for $85, assorted Christmas cards are $8 each, a cardigan is $70. We found all these new items being sold inside the North Star Wintry Wonders in Epic Universe, though we expect they will be at other stores property-wide. The Simpsons co-showrunner Matt Selman has addressed the rumors that Springfield will be removed from the Universal theme parks following Disney acquiring the show. Selman recently sat down with Entertainment Weekly to comment on the rumors that the Simpsons could be moving out of the Universal theme parks, namely Universal Studios Florida and Universal Studios Hollywood, after Disney acquired Fox in 2019. In addition to having worked on the animated series since 1997, Selman was involved in the creation of the Simpsons ride, which first opened in 2008. When Disney purchased Fox and acquired The Simpsons, Universal said the deal would have no impact on our ride or guest experience. Universal's contract allowing them to use The Simpsons, though, is reported to last 20 years, meaning it could end in 2028. Rumors began swirling of a larger Simpsons presence at Disney theme parks after the company sent out a guest survey last December about new lands, attractions, or character meet and greets for The Simpsons. The current Springfield areas both include a version of the Simpsons ride, as well as some famous in-universe restaurants such as the Krusty Burger and Lard Lad Donuts. The Universal Studios Florida area also includes an additional attraction called Kang and Kotas's Twirl and Hurl. Selman noted that he has no inside information on Universal's current plans for The Simpsons. Quote, "I don't have any inside information, so I'm just a fan. This is not an official announcement. I'm not party to those negotiations." However, he specifically mentioned, "I would personally be shocked if The Simpsons did not continue at Universal." With regard to the Hollywood location, Selman also added he can't imagine what Universal would use to replace The Simpsons. Think about it. What would they put there? They'd have to close it, shut it down for what, 2 years, and build another area right in the middle of Universal. I was just there. They're building a giant Fast and Furious outdoor roller coaster right there. And they just built all this Mario stuff. Like, how would they? It would destroy them. Just want to comment. This is obviously really dumb. So number one, to build the Simpsons area that they built in Hollywood, that major pathway closed for that anyway, or at least had walls up against it several years ago, so it's been done before. And secondly, let's just be honest. The Simpsons is not a wildly relevant franchise or IP at the moment. Like, people know The Simpsons, obviously. Do people specifically go to either of these Universal parks for The Simpsons? I would highly doubt it. I think when these attractions opened, The Simpsons was still a little long in the tooth then, but I think there were definitely people who went to see it who were big Simpsons fans, but I don't think it's like Harry Potter where people come back religiously because they fall in love with it. I just don't think it's that. Of course, in recent news about The Simpsons, a new movie has been announced that will premiere in 2027, taking over a release date that was originally reserved by Disney for an unnamed Marvel film. So Disney does still see value in it. Maybe they're going to end up in Disney parks, but I think it's a foregone conclusion that Simpsons is gone from Universal very soon. We know plans have been drawn up to replace those lands. We know it's happening. Yeah, they're rumors. They're not confirmed, but they're all but confirmed at this point. So I just think it's crazy that it would ruin them. I mean, Universal Studios Hollywood has had plenty of construction projects that hurt the operations of the park on a daily basis. It's pretty much how they've existed since the beginning. They will continue to live through this, I promise you. Shortly after our reporter noticed construction walls outside of Wicked, the experience at Universal Studios Florida, Universal has announced that the Mega Movie Parade will be going on hiatus due to that construction. While the walls don't block access to any stores, they do extend into the street directly in the path of the parade. The walls are all painted a standard blue color and extend across a large section of the street. The walls are in front of the Brown Derby hat shop and extend down the Walk of Fame. There's no indication as to what the construction is for, but it must have been something that needed to be done immediately. But the Mega Movie Parade is now on hiatus until late October at least. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to our WIGS members who make this show happen every week. For more information on these stories and more, head on over to universalparksnewstoday.com. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to like this video, subscribe to UPNT on YouTube for more great content, and click the bell for notifications. Make sure you select all notifications so you never miss an episode of the show. For UPNT, this is Tom Corliss saying, the future is whatever you make it, so make it a good one.